AI-assisted and agentic coding is helping you build faster than ever. But if your data layer is a bottleneck, what's the point? MongoDB actually gets out of your way. Instead of wrestling with rigid schemas or translating data formats, MongoDB's native data model mirrors the language LLMs already speak. It ships at the speed of AI, is ACID compliant, and scales to handle massive Fortune 500 workloads. Start building at mongodb.com/AI.
Cartoon Boom!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cartoon Boom. This is a show where Wiggly the Tiny Morning Sun pops on the floor with a big bowl of sugary cereal and will try your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm a jaded office worker traveling through time so I can play putt-putt golf. My name's Chris.
And this morning we watched Dave the Barbarian. Dave the Barbarian. Barbarian.
It was a fun, memorable song.
I remember the barbarian part of it, but it also explains the entire layout of what's going on, which I appreciate. I needed that the first time, but now I can skip intro and just get on with the show.
Yeah, I feel like maybe you only need a full intro, the one time, and then it's kind of like you just need the stinger, every episode after that of just like the barbarian, and then it just leads into the episode.
Counterpoint though, what about people who are jumping in as their first episode like later in the season, which I think this can work as a standalone. So I think it's valid that they keep the whole thing, but just let us, the people in the know, let us skip those episodes or let us skip those intros.
You just tell them they're doing it wrong. You're doing it completely wrong.
Watch it from the start.
Feel bad.
Chronologically.
Yeah. What are you doing? Speaking of what we're doing this because of Black Forest Ham 3789 who sent this to us. Thank you very much.
I thought we were doing this I thought we finally got an advertisement or something and it just happened to be Black Forest Ham and I was excited for just a second.
This episode brought to you by Black Forest Ham. Not any specific brand. This isn't like Boar's Head or something. It's just the idea of Black Forest Ham.
This episode brought to you by bananas.
Any kind.
Yeah, just whatever.
Whatever banana.
What kind you like?
Yeah, even the ones that are all you just brought home, but they're already turning black and they're mushy, and you pick it up and there's a gross film left over on your counter. Those bananas.
Yeah. It's brought to you by Rotten Bananas.
Yeah,
that'd be a good. It sounds like it'd be like a studio name or something. Rotten Banana Studio.
Yeah, I bet it is. Someone's got it.
Well, we are not, unfortunately, sponsored by them yet.
Not yet.
So the show, Dave the Barbarian, ran from 2004 to 2005, created by Doug Langdale, directed by Howie Parkins, produced by Walt Disney Television Animation, which was surprising to me, and it ran for one season, 21 episodes, which were broken out into 42 segments on the Disney Channel.
Nice.
And for a short synopsis, follow the adventures of Dave, one incredibly unusual barbarian who's more interested in raising his family and cooking yummy gourmet meals than conquering new lands.
I don't think he's the one that raises the family. I mean, no one's really raising them. They're just kind of existing in tandem.
Right. Because their parents, the king and the queen, have left to fight battles, I guess.
Yeah. They catapulted themselves over the wall.
Right.
Yeah. Which was a funny scene. Yeah.
So I heard something, and this may need some verification, but I heard that the reason
whisper it.
The reason that Dave the Barbarian, keep this between us,
okay,
is that he wanted to be a veterinarian, and then when he saw that Barbarian was available as a job, he thought it was just a combination of veterinarian and a barber. So he thought he was going to be a vet who cut hair.
What an idiot. Oh, Dave, you fool.
We should also say that Dave is 16 years old, but he looks like a real beefy man. Like he's a big beefy boy man.
Yeah, he's like Schwarzenegger size.
Right, but has the voice of a 16-year-old, which caught me off guard when I first heard his voice. That was not what I was expecting.
Wait a minute. Do you say Schwarzenegger or Schwarzenegger?
Schwarzenegger?
Or Schwarzenegger? Huh.
I'm not sure. I've
Hmm.
never thought about the way that I've said it. I think people just know.
Yeah, but now that I've questioned it, now I feel like I can't say it anymore, you know?
Yeah,
Like
you're not
I think
allowed to anymore.
I think I just ruined it for myself. Oh man. All right.
So, who were some of the actors who played in this show? And I know Arnold was not one of them.
No, he was not involved. Dave the Barbarian was voiced by Danny Cooksey, who, to me, I mostly know him as Bobby Budnick from Salute Your Shorts. Very, very memorable character from there. He was also the voice of Montana Max from Tiny Toon Adventures. He's in Pepper Ann, Shaolin Showdown, and the voice of Kick Buttowski, or the voice of what is I don't know if the character's name is Kick Buttowski. I think it is Kick Buttowski in the show Kick Buttowski. I don't know. It's weird if your name is Kick. I don't know. Who knows?
Or Butowski even, but
yeah.
anyway.
The voice of Lula, which is Dave's sword, was done by Estelle Harris, who was made notable appearances in Seinfeld and was the voice of Mrs. Potato Head in this Toy Story franchise, starting with Toy Story 2. Were there subtitles for any of those movies? Like, or is it just Toy Story 2? It's not like Toy Story 2, The Return of Sid or Sid's Revenge or anything like that.
No, I think the only subtitles came in video games, because I think like the video games is where it started adding on like sub things. Because yeah, now that you mention it, I think it is just like Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, 3, and 4, and just that way.
Yeah,
the storyer,
the storying. Okay. The voice of Candy, who is the eldest sister, and I think eldest member of the siblings, which are Dave, Candy, and Fang. Candy was voiced by Erica Luttrell, who was a large part of the show Shining Time Station, if you remember that from way back in the day.
Yeah.
She was the voice of Keisha from the Magic School Bus, the original run, the voice of Sapphire from Steven Universe, and also the voice of Erica from Captain Underpants, that book that got turned into a series, I guess. I didn't know it was a series. I just knew it was a book. So
yeah, I didn't know either, but apparently it's pretty popular.
Yeah. The voice of Fang, the youngest of the siblings and kind of the wild child, she's great, she's my favorite, was done by Tress MacNeille, if you couldn't tell. Tress is someone we talk about all the time on this show. I don't need to go into a whole bunch about her. We talked about her not too long ago as she reprised her role as Gadget from Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers in that film. But Tress is in pretty much anything that Matt Groening has ever done. Very, very popular voice actress. I was trying to think of some others. Babs Bunny from Tiny Toon Adventures, so reprising another role along with Danny Cooksey, who was Max from Tiny Toons.
Yeah.
So working on those together, I thought that was pretty cool. The voice of Faffy, which is like a little floating, I don't know what he is, demon
He's like
creature thing.
A pig dragon looking thing.
Yeah. Take a guess who that was. Just take a wild guess.
I'm going to say Frank Welker because I heard him sound very
correct.
Frank Welker-ish. Yeah.
It's Frank Welker, who's in pretty much every episode we cover. Frank is somewhere in there. The new man of a million voices. I love this guy. He's in everything. We talk about him all the time. I'm not going to go too far in there. Uncle Oswidge is voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson, who also is someone we mention a lot. He is pretty much like the deep voice in every modern cartoon we've covered. So you think about like Teen Titans or like the Green Lantern animated series with like, I believe he was Kilowog. Like you think of that deep voice. It's always Kevin Michael Richardson. Interestingly enough, he did not use a deep voice in this one, really. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even pegged it as him had you not said that.
Correct. And then finally, the narrator was Jeff Bennett, another alum that is mentioned on our show a lot. Voice of Johnny Bravo, I believe Brooklyn from Gargoyles, Cape Guy from Freakazoid. Someone that we have seen a lot through the 90s and continue to hear his voice quite often. So that's your main cast.
Nice. And there will be some other voices it will bring up along the way that are fairly notable as in the episodes we watched, at least.
You're notable.
Oh, thank you. So for a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of Dave the Barbarian cereal, the evil sorceress princess of Hierogoth, Irmaplots, and her mother, Queen Xanthara. Okay, so I'm bringing it up now. I said I was going to bring it up in the episodes, but I'm going to bring it up now. are interpreted in the original version by Melissa Rivers and her mother, Joan Rivers. This happened as a result of Joan Rivers comparing a gala dress with a suit from the series, so they were invited to the series.
That is really interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they played those. And I double checked on the episode to make sure, and yeah, they're in it.
Okay, I got to give them credit. They did like a way better job than I would have guessed. If someone just said, hey, these two were in this episode, I would not have guessed they would have been so good. So yeah, that's interesting.
And Joan Rivers especially, she didn't go like over the top Joan Rivers like I would have expected her to. Like it was honestly couldn't even tell until I knew.
She has a very recognizable voice. So yeah, I feel like I would have picked that out, but I didn't think of that.
And also, so Uncle Oswidge's name is a pun with the Wizard of Oz. So he's just supposed to be, tied to that. This is the first series created by Douglas Langdale, who had previously worked for Disney as a Buzz Lightyear writer for the Star Command in 2000 and Return to Jafar in 1994 and the Quack Pack in 1996.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so he had worked previously on those, but this is his first series. So
very cool.
It was a great start for first series. Initially, the team of writers had planned to introduce a princess, which would be Dave's main love interest, but the sudden cancellation of the series prevented the creative team from incorporating this character.
I think that's rough. And I'm honestly surprised that this series did get canceled as early as it did. I don't know. Maybe there's reasons that I don't know. Yeah. Maybe you'll get into it, but I'm honestly really surprised.
Me too. And some of the reasons that I read, and I can't like validate this completely, but the reasons that I read were basically that at the time they were switching the way that they were doing some of the programming. And so there was less focus on, I guess, this sort of series. So they were trying to move in a different direction.
Okay.
So I don't know that it had anything to do with the series itself, or it might have just been in a bad time slot. Or it could have just been that it didn't gather the viewings that they wanted or were expecting initially. But it's definitely one that I think gained cult like notoriety after the fact. And I did see a lot of people talking about it as like something they used to love watching as a kid and were really sad that it got canceled. Definitely looking at the reviews, it was a ton more positive than there were negative. Like the negative ones were just dumb reviews from what I saw. They're just like, don't give this a time of day. And then it wouldn't have any other like explanation. It's like, why did you even jump in here? It doesn't make sense.
That's interesting. Like obviously not critical thinking involved.
Right. No. This series takes place in the fictitious kingdom of Udragoth. I can't remember. The culture of its inhabitants is inspired by the Gauls that popularized Europe in 1138, while the city is a mixture of the barbaric architecture of Switzerland and the areas of Holland and Germany to the west.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
It's cool, but none of that matters because they bring anything into this. There are no real rules to this world. In the first episode, we saw a cowboy, a luchador, a dancer from a nightclub. Like it was all kinds of different stuff all over the world. So yes, maybe it's supposed to be based around this general time period, but ignore that.
Yeah.
Because it's not part of the plot.
Doesn't matter.
Right. So like, had you heard of this one before or watched it at all?
No. The name sounded familiar, so I thought that I knew what it was. But then when we actually started watching it, I realized that the thing I was thinking about was a totally different show that I think was a show for adults or something. And this was something completely different. So yeah, I was totally mixing this up with something else. So I had no idea what we were getting into.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like I thought it was something that it wasn't. I have never seen it. And, I don't know that it would have even crossed my path really because it was on the Disney Channel in 2004. And at that point, I know I wasn't really like regularly watching Disney Channel programming because that was mainly known for more like those live action series that I'm thinking of, like, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and stuff like that. So that's what I attributed to Disney Channel shows. I wasn't thinking about like cool cartoons that really transcended that what I would have expected from Disney at the time.
Exactly. Same.
So let's go ahead and jump to the episodes for today's show, starting with the first one, The Maddening Sprite of the Stump, Season 1, Episode 1A, where Lula gets stuck in a tree stump during Dave's attempt to guard the enchanted forest against a giant man-eating muffin. While the royal family is unable to free Lula, a tiny winged sprite establishes himself as the ruler of Udragoth.
It sounds ridiculous, and it is, but it's great.
It is, but it's fantastic. Okay, so I think it's one of those things where like you get a pretty good idea of this show and what it's going to be from the very start, and I appreciated that about it. They don't pull any punches and like lead you to believe it's anything more than what it is.
I also like that you get a really good idea of each character pretty quickly too. Like Candy is the one wearing the crown, sitting on the throne, doesn't want to be there. She's really kind of lazy and just aloof and just doesn't want to be involved in anything, just wants to be left alone. Just like, ugh, really? Do I have to do things?
Yeah, she wants to go shopping at the mall, whatever the equivalent to a mall is in barbaric times.
She's like the teenage girl that has responsibility or like chores or something that she doesn't want to do, but her chore is running the kingdom.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, I think she's supposed to be 18. So it's kind of like putting your oldest daughter in charge of babysitting, but instead of just the kid, she's babysitting the whole kingdom, and she just does not want to do this.
Yeah. We've got the titular character, Dave, who we talked about before, is a huge hulking barbarian, but he's also a complete coward for the most part. He does not like to fight. He's scared of most things, and more of a pacifist in a way. I mean, he will fight if he has to, but he'd rather not, and he's scared to do so, and is always looking for a way out of having to do things, not because of anything other than, fear.
Yeah.
And he's got his talking sword, Lula, who is very judgmental of him. And pretty much everybody. Lula is always talking smack on everyone, just has this attitude and is hilarious, has like a New York accent, which is great, just adds so much more to it. I love that part of it. Fang, super hyper small, wants to fight and slaughter everything. Like she's the scrappy little one that just would pick a fight with anything possible.
Is constantly being compared to a chimp or a monkey because she's just this tiny like frenzy, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Then you got Uncle Oswich, who is like, obviously the oldest. He's the like royal mage in a way. And then we find out he's really bad at magic, which I thought is great because we don't know that until they actually do go to fight the Big Muffin. And he uses his wand and he actually makes it. It's already giant. He makes it even bigger. And I thought that was great. And
like
he's just
trying
like,
to shrink it.
Yeah, does the exact opposite. So like we thought, maybe, okay, well, he's at least going to do something, but nope, he's basically pointless.
The intro really lets us know ahead of time, like these are our heroes and they're not great, but they're all we've got right now. And so there's nobody like working together. They can accomplish things, but nobody as a singular individual would get anything done successfully.
Yeah. It ends up being the muffin ends up being taken out by Fang snatching the wand away from Oswich, and he does have that line. He's like, "Oh no, it takes years of training," and she immediately disintegrates it.
Yeah,
which is so funny. But here's the thing: I don't remember what knocked Lula out of Dave's hands that she got stuck in the tree stump. Do you remember what happened there?
Yeah. So so Dave went to attack the giant muffin. His catchphrase is "bajabbers." I don't know why, but that's just what he says throughout the series.
Bajabbers.
And so he runs in to cut it, and he's like, "Time to cut a muffin." And I like how Lulu's just like, that sounds nasty for some reason.
Yeah, she always says that.
Yeah. And then I think like in trying to hit it, it kind of like deflects off of the muffin or something. And so that's when she flies up in the air and gets stuck in the stump.
Yeah. He tries to pull it out, can't do it. And then we see this Sprite pop out, this magical Sprite, who's just this green, chubby, short little guy who he's just garbage.
Yeah. Imagine Danny DeVito as a Sprite.
Yes. And he says, "Oh, yeah, it's a magical stump. Whoever can pull the sword free will rule the land." And, that's just how things are.
Yeah.
They each try. They can't get it out. So then they open it up to like everybody in the land to try it because, one, they're kind of like overruling. Like they don't really want to do it anymore. And I like the scene where you see all these different people trying And somebody's there like selling t-shirts that say like I failed. And
Yeah,
like,
I tried and failed.
Yeah, there's the chiropractor tent that's like doing really well because everyone's pulling their backs out trying to get this sword out and everything. It turns out the Sprite was, rigging the system because the Sprite is kind of like, in the fine print here, if no one can pull it out, that makes me the ruler. So he gets the crown, he takes over, and he kind of like enslaves the royal family, like literally making Oswich his throne. Like he makes Oswich like he just kneel like on his hands and knees and he just sits on his back.
Yeah. And he makes the others, like he makes Fang chew up and regurgitate his food. Yes. He makes Dave floss his teeth, Candy cut his nails, and then I guess like they have to give him a nightly sponge bath too.
Yeah. The Muffin Monster's older brother shows up, this giant thing, and
to avenge his brother's death.
And the magic Sprite knows that it's like it's his responsibility. He's not going to do it. So he's like, well, whoever goes out and vanquishes this thing can get this immunity totem, and you can be immune from giving me my evening sponge bath tonight. So everyone goes out to try to kill this thing, obviously.
Yeah.
Dave's like, I have to get Lula now, thinking he's got the motivation, but they all are trying to pull Lula out to kill this muffin because no one wants to give him the sponge bath. All of them tugging on Lula together actually pulls Lula forth, and so they all become the royal family again. Even though Candy she's the only one stuck with the crown, and she's like, come on, why me?
Yeah. I really like it here because it's kind of like fast forwarded because these are only 12-minute episodes. So we get to see short. Like the Sprite comes back. He's like, hey, well, I guess that's it, and goes back to his stump because, they got the sword out. So then it's like we get the time to cut a muffin again. And as he runs off, it cuts to just like drawings, kind of like concept art of the battle against this other giant muffin. And the narrator's like, yeah, like this is all we can show you because the rest of it would be much too expensive for a cheap show like this. And like the rest of it really just is like cutouts or pictures. And we get to see. So after the muffin is cut in half, the children around start bouncing on it like a trampoline. And then it cuts to like a picture of this one, like an actual photo of this one kid. They say Billy Mencken. Like Billy Mencken's not allowed to because he's been bad. And then that's when the episode's over. It's just so strange.
Man, forget Billy Mencken. He sucks.
Yeah, he looked like he sucked.
Billy Mencken, if you're listening, you suck.
You've been bad.
You've been a real bad kid.
So the second episode we watched for today's show was Girlfriend, Season 1, Episode 3A, which was a Patreon pick by Gary K. and Anthony D. So thank you both.
Thank you.
In this one, Dave begins dating Princess Irmaplatz, but breaks up with her when he learns that she is evil. Irmaplatz is upset about the breakup and sends an army of filthy pixies to attack Urdrugoth.
I think this was my favorite episode out of the ones we watched. I think partly because I expected something to be happening and it actually wasn't what I thought it was. And I really enjoyed that I still got a surprise out of the writing and the plot of this thing. I thought that was really cool. And that just reminded me of something. I wanted to mention this, and this might be a credit to, well, it is a credit to possibly why this show feels pretty well done. One of the storyboard artists of this thing is Dave Filoni, who, if you feel like that name sounds familiar, one of the main creators and executive producers alongside of Jon Favreau of The Mandalorian. So obviously a guy that knows storytelling. It seems like he really, I mean, I don't know that he got a start here, but it sounds like he, somewhat cut his teeth in this show before moving on to bigger and better things. So,
and I think this is a great example of how even with these short episodes, you can tell a self-contained story and still in a hilarious way, because that's what matches the style of this show, and still have it make sense without going so off the wall that it's like, what was the show we watched where it was just random for the sake of being random?
It's been several.
Rayman for sure. And Rayman. Then I think there was one before that, but I don't remember. But anyway, like you get my point. Like such a short segment, it still tells this whole story and you're satisfied with the ending without feeling like they gave you too little or went in such a off the wall place that it doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah. So in this one, we see Dave going to this library. He's looking for a book of poems by a poet named Pedexing,
which is just pedestrian crossing, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah, and he talks to this librarian that cracks me up, and that guy was voiced by Phil Lamar, by the way.
Oh, perfect.
But this guy's he like freaks out when he says he's looking for a book by PedX, and he's talking about how like, oh, that book made me blind and made my arm go numb, even though his arm's moving, and I lost both my legs. And Dave's like, you have your legs. And he's like, well, I found them eventually. They're in the couch cushions. It's just, just over the top. He's just supposed to be a really bad poet. He had just rented that book out to this princess, Irma Plotz of Hiragoth. And so he runs to catch up with her, and it's adorable how, well, first of all, you can tell she's evil because she has fangs, which is great. But
yeah,
it's so funny because they hit it off so well, and they start like comparing all these things about themselves that are the same. They have the same allergies, which is really funny, which they talk a lot about the same things they're allergic to. They like the same music. They're both big into owl macrame, where they just make macrame of owls, which is great. And they
right.
have their favorite ones on them at the time and show them off. It's super cute and funny, but the thing, and this is what I was expecting, and I really thought to expect it when he's talking with the rest of his family about it at dinner, is he's describing her and everyone's just like, oh yeah, she's an evil princess. Does she say she like have an evil cackle? And he's like, oh, no, she says the funniest things like, I'll conquer the world, evil will triumph, just stuff like that, and just totally oblivious to it. And they're like, yeah, evil princess. So what I thought in my head was this is a woman that knows who he is and is trying to manipulate him. But instead, we get to see her side of things, and she actually is in love with this guy, and is talking to her mother, who is like an evil queen, and she's like, you need to be honest with him if you want to your love to last. You're gonna have to tell him that you're evil, and be open and honest about that stuff. So I just thought that was super interesting because it wasn't what I thought they were going to do at all.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go the same direction with it at first, because I was like, it's too convenient that she likes the exact same things as he does. Exactly, and she's playing it really well. Until, we got to that scene and I got to see that, oh, she's authentic about this, but she's not going to stop being evil for him. She just is what she is. She does try. And this is after Dave comes to their castle and is almost destroyed by her mother.
Just for showing up.
Right, exactly. Just for being there. And then Irma Plotz explains to Dave, tells him oh yeah, I'm definitely evil. I destroy civilizations, torment innocent people, return library books late. And then I think Dave says well, you don't seem that bad. And she's like, well, I'm half good on my father's side.
Yes, that was a good line.
Yeah.
And I like that they try to compromise. So Dave tries to be a little bit more evil and Irma Plotz tries to be a little bit more good. She returns a library book on time. And even the librarian's like, what, really? Okay. But then he looks at it and one of the pages is ripped out and he's like, oh, come on.
And as she's walking away, she's like, blah, ha, ha.
Yeah. Dave tries to be evil by, he finds these little, I don't remember what they were. Yeah, these little treats. And they were free samples. And it says, please take one. And he's like, but what if I take more than one? So he takes two of them. But then he felt so bad about it. He bought hundreds of them.
Yeah, he said he bought 10,000 of them because he felt so bad.
So they come to this realization that they can't change. It's just Dave can't be evil and she can't be good. So Dave breaks up with her and he thinks it went well. He's just like, yeah, she totally understood and everything. As his uncle is explaining, oh, well, that's really good. You really dodged a bullet. When I broke up with an evil princess, she sent, a swarm of filthy pixies to ravage the kingdom. And it's almost immediately this portal opens up and she's like, filthy pixies, destroy them. And all these pixies come out and just start wrecking everything.
Yeah. And these pixies are filthy pixies are literally what they sound like. They're just really dirty pixies that get their gross hands all over everything and kind of just wreak havoc. But they're also invincible. So they can't be killed, but they can be driven away by bad poetry, it turns out.
Yeah. It turns out that's how she's controlling them with Pedexing's poetry because she still have the book. So as Dave kind of starts figuring things out, he uses even worse poetry, which is poetry he writes himself.
Yeah.
And turns them away back through the portal and everything.
From whence they came.
Whence they came, yes. Which you can tell Irma Potts is just like in love with them all over again for a split second because of it.
Yeah, because she's just like, anybody who writes poetry that bad can't be all good.
Yeah. It was cute.
She gives him back the book, the Petexing book, but has torn out the last page. And that's where he's just like, curse you, evil Princess Irma Potts, curse you.
Yes. And then they did this really weird thing. So earlier he had made a megaphone to read his bad poetry and he tied a squirrel to it. And it's just like, wait, what? I don't know. But at the end of the episode, they like zoom out and it shows like Dave and Faffy sitting in like those chairs that you picture like actors sitting in.
Yeah, like director chairs and stuff. Yeah.
And it's like you see them on like a TV show set, like with like rigging in the background and a sound stage, things like that. And he's like, I'm sure many of you are wondering why I tied a squirrel to a megaphone. And then it just ends.
He's like,
you don't get an answer.
Yeah. Well, goodbye. Yeah, and that's it.
Bye.
But it's great the way that they constructed that megaphone thing. It's like they were talking about he needed to build something to project his voice so everyone could hear it. And so like he has a string, a squirrel, and a megaphone. But then it's like, well, why the other two if you have that? And it's like of course we were questioning it, and they knew we were, so they brought it back up, but didn't give us an answer still, which made it even better and funnier.
Yep, I agree.
So good. The last episode we watched for today's show was Ned Frischman, Man of Tomorrow, season 1, episode 3B, which actually was directly the next episode, which is great. Patreon pick by our editor, Jack, and Anthony D again. So thank you both.
Thanks, guys.
A nerd named Ned Frischman travels back in time and tries to take over the ancient world using video games. I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to read the rest of it. I want that to come as we go through.
Okay. And so Ned was voiced by Richard Stephen Horvitz.
You hear it immediately. Yeah. It's Zim. It's his Zim voice.
Yes. Zim from Invader Zim. It's kind of like it sounds, but the way that it happens is the most ridiculous, convoluted thing I think I've ever seen, and I love it.
Yes,
it's this zipper that falls off of his was it his pants or his jacket?
Well, no. Ned works for the conglomerated pants company. He is a tailor, so he is putting together a pair of pants, and the fiery comet comes down and hits the zipper that he had been working with.
Yeah. But then all these other things happen to it too. Like
all in succession. Like the secret experimental laser bombards the zipper with hyperviolet mercury rays. It's doused with mysterious chemicals, struck by the mystical powers of the Norse gods, which you see Thor's hammer come out and you quickly zap it. Yeah. Bitten by a radioactive grasshopper. And then taught the arcane ability to cloud men's mind by an inscrutable monk.
Yes.
all nonsense when it's put together. But for whatever reason, all those things combined make this zipper able to travel through time.
Yeah. So he can unzip reality and walk through it like a portal.
Yes.
And his thought process is even though he is consistently employee of the month, which is a high honor, friends.
No. His ultimate goal in life is to be employee of the month. He's never been. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was. Oh, so he has not gotten it. Oh, dang. Okay, yeah, his life sucks. So he decides to travel back in time, and show off technology from his time, so that he can basically be like a god to people from the past. And so you can take a guess. The time he ends up in, obviously, is the time of Dave the Barbarian. And that's where he ends up. And the first thing he tries to show them, I thought this was funny, was a garage door opener. And he's just like, behold, and he's showing it to him and he's pressing the button and there's no garage doors, so nothing's happening.
Yeah, and they're just like, what's a garage? What's a car?
What's a button?
Like, nobody is impressed. Before we even get there, though, like when we come into Dave and everybody, they're just sitting around because like they haven't gotten into the scene yet. So the narrator's like, here they are, your heroes waiting patiently for their story to begin. Yeah. And they're just kind of sitting there like tapping their feet and stuff and like, come on, we're like 2 minutes in already.
Yeah. Where's the bad guy?
Right. So that's when he comes on. So there's a lot of like self-referential humor here.
Yeah. So he goes through trying to figure out like, well, what technology can I give them that will make me important? And he decides on finally a game guy instead of a Game Boy. Mm-hmm. And that's the one that finally sucks them in, is the game guy. and he ends up going to the equivalent of like a Fry's Electronics, buying a whole bunch of game guys, bringing them back through the portal, giving one to like everybody in the land. And then kind of like the batteries all die at the same time on all of them. So then he is the keeper of the batteries and everybody has to come to him for their batteries because they're now addicted to these game guy games.
Right. Which is kind of genius in its own weird way.
Yeah. So everybody now has to do things for him, build monuments, build a putt-putt course, create a sandwich in his name, all these things. But there's a small slew of characters that don't have opposable thumbs and can't use the game guy. So this power means nothing. That is Faffy, Lula, the sword, and then this random pony.
So that's Twinkle the Marvel horse, and he is a depressed horse who sounds like Christopher Walken. That's
yeah, he does.
Yeah, that's what you need to know about him.
Yeah, that horse cracked me up every time.
He's also voiced by Jeff Bennett, the narrator.
Oh, awesome. I mean, that sounds like, when I think back to shows like Freakazoid or Animaniacs that Jeff Bennett was in, there were a lot of Christopher Walken appearances. So I'm sure it was him voicing every time.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he's just like, yeah, I can do a good Walken impression. They're like, cool, we'll use that.
Yeah, it is good. It's a good impression. Like, it's super funny coming out of this horse, though.
Yeah. So these three are not affected by this. They have no interest in this game because they can't play it because they don't have thumbs. So while everybody else is distracted, while this guy just kind of takes over because of hoarding the batteries and everybody is addicted, the three of them decide that they need to stop him. So Faffy holds Lula and rides on the horse, whose name I've already forgotten, despite how great he is.
Twinkle.
Why did I forget that name? That's great. They go to try to stop him. However, he's able to capture them. And the only way they get saved is Lula convinces Dave to save them. And she convinces him by doing so by saying, hey, if you save us, I'll give you the trick to getting to level 7. So that convinces him. Ned then zips a dinosaur into their world, this big T-Rex, but the T-Rex, instead of helping Ned, destroys all of his monuments and then goes and plays putt-putt golf.
Yeah.
Which is great.
But then he gets hungry and Dave puts Ned in between two giant pieces of bread, since he is the official sandwich maker, and throws him through the portal to lead the T-Rex away to go after him.
Correct. Like back into his own time.
Right.
Yeah.
Fast forward to when they are back to their own time. Well, I guess first of all, we just see that Dave is telling everybody in town, like, you don't have to labor for batteries anymore. And everyone cheers. And he's like, because there will be no more game guys. And then that's when he gets like
everybody mobs him,
ransacked. And yeah, they carry him away. And then it cuts over to where Ned is currently, which is back at his office job, or back at his tailoring job. He's been working there for 9 years, still trying to get employee of the month. And he's planning out his next attack also. But then they announce employee of the month they're about to announce it. And so he's really excited, hoping for the best. And the new employee of the month was Rex, the T-Rex that he brought over. So it's just so really funny. Weird and good. Yeah.
I love it. What a way to close that out.
Yeah, I would not have expected that. Expect the unexpected with this show.
Absolutely.
Well, Chris, looks like it's about time we send our inner kids to Udragoth to pull Lula out of the stump, making us new rulers of the land. And I guess also find out what they thought of the show Dave the Barbarian.
This show looked pretty silly, but it was so much fun, especially with all the magic, a talking sword, and an evil girlfriend. I can't wait to get my zipper struck by a meteor so I can go back in time and get one for myself.
This show was surprisingly fun and super funny for a show about a barbarian, with a ton of weird, lovable characters to boot. But now all I can think about is taking a bite out of one of those giant man-eating desserts. Time to cut a muffin!
It does sound kind of gross.
Right? Yeah, it sounds inappropriate. I know it's not, but cutting a muffin almost sounds like farting in a way.
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds like a different way to say, like, you got to fart.
Yeah. Oop, about to cut a muffin.
Yeah, like, did someone cut a muffin in here?
Who cut a muffin?
Dang it. Grandma, quit cutting your muffin. Oh, boy. Yeah. What'd you like about this show?
I wasn't really sure that I would like the animation when we were first looking at the screenshots, but now that we've watched it, I think it really suits the style of the show well, so it grew on me pretty quickly. Also, hearing the narrator really reminded me how much I actually enjoy shows with interactive narrators. Like, it reminds me of Rocky and Bullwinkle, Powerpuff Girls, Earthworm Jim, things like that, because they really become characters all on their own when they can interact with the world. So they're sort of acting as our vessels to go beyond the fourth wall and interact with the characters in ways that we wouldn't otherwise be able to. So all that is to say that this show handled it very well, and Jeff Bennett did an amazing job.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the narrator, along with the other characters, were all fleshed out really well immediately, like from the start. And all were very enjoyable. Like we had an immediate idea of what we were going to get, of what their personalities were, of what kind of jokes we could expect from all of them. And they were never lacking. Like each one brought something to the table in every episode that was just so much fun, so playful, and extremely enjoyable from start to finish in these short little 12-minute segments each time. And they had these genuinely funny moments. And also something I really appreciated was the incorporation of like some of these like almost like D&D style elements too, because of the setting and things like that. Like the fact that he's a barbarian, that there's magic, that there's, you know, swords and creatures and things like that, you know, stuff that you guys know appeals to me being a bit of a D&D nerd. But doing that and making it so funny and just so enjoyable, I loved so much about this show that I have so many other shows I really want to watch, but like I feel like I keep adding to that list of, oh man, like now I need to watch more of this one too.
I know we've had so many good shows in a row. That's been
well, you say that, but the one right before this was not so great.
Okay, so that broke our streak, but This starts it up again. Speaking of the humor of this show, like it was hilarious. I got the kind of feel of an ongoing Animaniacs skit.
Yes.
Maybe, and part of that's just because like Tress MacNeille's Fang voice kept reminding me of her Dot voice because it was essentially the same kind of high-pitched, energetic voice. Mm-hmm. But also because rules just don't apply to this world. And that was something like you could easily do in a skit-based show because like there was not really any continuity to them. But in this one, even though there is some continuity, they stretched things as far as they could to land the jokes, but never so far that it ever felt out of place, I think. The way you set up the world for us already, of course the Giant Muffin's brother would come back for revenge. That totally tracks with this show. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's like it's wacky but controlled would be the best way I could describe it, even if that sounds like an oxymoron.
Organized chaos. You know,
yeah,
is kind of what it is. And they do it extremely well. I think we've had a lot of shows like that lately, which are kind of that organized chaos in the last several months. And I think it is kind of weird that we've had so many, but we've had so many that do it extremely well. And this is just another one to add to that list. And maybe one of the more surprising ones, too.
Yeah, honestly, I think this would be a really good parallel to the way I felt about Regular Show.
Yeah.
Even though they're way different shows, they're kind of the same at their root of being that organized chaos type.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that for sure. So with that said, did you have any dislikes or criticisms of it?
My one caveat for the show isn't really a bad thing, depending on who you're asking, but
I'm
it's definitely it is. Oh, you are asking me.
Yeah, I'm asking you.
So the caveat that I have is that it's a type of random offbeat humor that I don't think would be everybody's cup of tea. It is mine, so it's not a bad thing to me. But I think for the most part, it can be universally enjoyed by the whole family, yes. But if you can't appreciate an entire battle being shown in the form of drawings to save money, a squirrel tied to a megaphone for no reason, or a depressed magical pony that sounds like Christopher Walken, then it's not going to be a show for you. And honestly, I can understand that sentiment to some degree because that is the way I originally felt about Freakazoid, which it didn't really jive with me when we had watched it at the time because I don't know, it just felt too random in parts. And I think though, now that I've seen so many shows that handled that well, that organized chaos, like we keep saying, it's time that I should probably give Freakazoid another chance. But if you're not a fan of that type of humor, this show is loaded with this. So just be aware of that.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't think I really had any dislikes for this. I think if the show were, let's say, the 22-minute segments instead of the shorter ones, then I think some of the episodes would overstay their welcome. But they knew what they were doing with this. I think the type of show this is, it has to be shorter, or else the gags would run on too long. It would get overwhelming. So I think they did a good job. They knew what they were doing. They stuck to it. They nailed it. But I say that again, we do this only watching 3 episodes, so take that for what it is. But there wasn't anything of note that I can say I disliked about this show.
So what would you rate it overall?
Well, I think it's super fun. It flew completely under the radar for me and possibly many others. And as I said before, as a fan of D&D, of which it has a little bit of that thrown in the mix because of the setting, and lots of humor that reminds me of shows that I enjoyed from Kids WB back in the day, like Animaniacs or Freakazoid, both of which we've talked about. So if those things appeal to you listening, I think you should give it a watch. So as for me, I gave Dave the Barbarian 5 bowls of Ned Frischman cereal of the future out of 5.
While I'm sure there is continuity to some degree, since I think we do get to see both Ned and Irma plots return at some point, this show also works as a self-contained episode sort of show, especially since the narrator, who was a wonderful addition, will basically catch you up on anything you need to know going into it. And overall, I really enjoyed this show. It came as a big surprise for me because I had really I only thought I've heard of it. I hadn't actually heard of the show or knew anything about it, or really had met anyone who had seen it before or told me about it. So this was a big shock that it never crossed my radar. But overall, I'd give Dave the Barbarian 5 big bowls of filthy pixie dust cereal out of 5. I definitely think you should give this one a shot. And like I said way earlier, I think you'll pretty much know right away whether or not this show's for you, even from the first scene.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if you do go back and watch some Freakazoid. I'm interested to see what you think about it now.
Yeah,
years later.
I am curious about that because people's humor does evolve, or at least their attitudes towards things evolve. So I think maybe I've hit that point where I appreciate this kind of humor more, especially than I did back then. So yeah, it's about time I give it a shot.
I will say there are episodes that are very obnoxious. Like I can think of one specifically that I really don't like, but most of it I thought was pretty funny. So
okay,
I'll be interested to see what you think when you do that.
Yeah, I'll update you.
Yeah. And just real quick, I wasn't sure when the new artwork for Cartoon Boom was going to be posted as of the last couple of weeks, but it is definitely up by this point. So I want to give a big thank you to our artist, Luana, who did an amazing job. You can check out more of her artwork on Instagram at D'Souza Sinclair. And a big thank you to our patrons like Tom and Doc Trancy. It's because of the generous donations of folks like you that we were able to hire her in the first place. If you are interested in helping fund the show and get access to hundreds of hours of bonus content from us, head over to patreon.com/nerdsloth and check out the tier options over there.
And thank you, Black Forest Ham 3789, for suggesting this to us. Maybe one day we'll be sponsored by actual ham, but today is not that day. Yeah. But for now, we appreciate you.
Until then, we appreciate your very specific selection of ham for suggesting this cartoon. We really enjoyed it.
Yes. I wonder if he is an anthropomorphic ham that has come off the assembly line, and that was his designation number from that line. And now he's gone rogue. But instead of trying to avenge his brethren in the factory, he just got lazy and started watching cartoons instead and listening to podcasts.
Maybe he's a butcher and that was the very first thing he chopped up.
Oh,
and so he's
okay.
like, he just looked at it and he was like, I'll remember you forever. And by that,
Black
he's
Ham
like,
30, yeah.
I'll make you my Reddit name.
Yeah. And he also wears a chain of
Black
just
ham.
some yeah.
He's got a chain of ham around his neck.
A chain of ham, or he has a necklace that has half hearts on it, and one of the hearts he's wearing, the other half of it he put around the ham.
Yeah, every time he's in danger, he kisses it just in case. Just in case
this is the end. Yeah, he has a picture of that ham above his fireplace.
Yep.
No, on his nightstand by his bed.
Yeah,
because he wants to see it every night before he goes to sleep.
Good night too. Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's real salty.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like ham.
What were we talking about? Oh, we're done, right?
Yeah.
It's over. Okay. Well, listeners, looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And next week, we'll be watching
Strawberry Shortcake's Berry Bitty Adventures, suggested via Facebook by Ira.
Yeah, so Strawberry Shortcake, that's happening.
I've known of that character probably my whole life. I don't know how long Strawberry Shortcake has been around, but I feel like I've
you go
always
way back,
known.
huh? You guys.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm a shortcake stan, but no, I've known about this character, but I know nothing about her adventures. Yeah, I've seen her in like so many different products and stuff. So I'm really curious to see like what kind of character she ends up being or how this show actually is.
Yeah, I think this is like a more modern take, like a more modern show. I don't.
Oh,
think,
is it?
Yeah, I don't think this is the old Strawberry Shortcake. I think this is one from like the last decade. I would assume.
So is it going to be kind of like I typed in Strawberry Shortcake. I typed in Strawberry Shortcake on Google thinking that was going to pop up.
You just got the food, right?
Instead, I got a lot of pictures of actual Strawberry Shortcake.
Yeah, I've eaten a lot of those.
Yeah.
My experience with those is pretty high. My experience with the character, not so much. So
okay, so this is like a more not aged up, but like a CG kind of look to it.
Oh, 2010.
Maybe.
So it isn't even in the last decade.
Wow, not anymore. Jeez, we're old.
But it feels like it should be.
Yeah, but no, this is not not my Strawberry Shortcake. That's not the one I was thinking of.
It's not. Yeah, well, I mean, it wouldn't have been in the first place. It's not your mom's Strawberry Shortcake.
No, not my mother's Strawberry Shortcake.
Yeah,
the original came out in the 80s, actually. So
yeah,
we were alive.
Yeah, we were alive for the most part.
So I'm curious about the show still. Again, I know nothing of the character, only what I've seen before, but this is a completely new version of her. Well, newer than what I was thinking.
There we go. Now we know.
All right. Well, once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
We'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerdsloth,
a place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.
AI-assisted and agentic coding is helping you build faster than ever. But if your data layer is a bottleneck, what's the point? MongoDB actually gets out of your way. Instead of wrestling with rigid schemas or translating data formats, MongoDB's native data model mirrors the language LLMs already speak. It ships at the speed of AI, is ACID compliant, and scales to handle massive Fortune 500 workloads. Start building at mongodb.com/AI.